I just presented the primary results of the GUARD-AF study as a late-breaking clinical trial here at the ESC 2024 in London. Basically, what this trial tried to answer is a very important clinical question, which is, can screening for atrial fibrillation reduce the risk of stroke? We don't know the answer to this question, so we plan a very large study performed in the US with 52,000 patients, where we randomize participants to a screening strategy with a 14-day patch-based continuous ECG monitoring or usual of care. And we look if this strategy could lead to less hospitalizations due to stroke. Unfortunately, the trial was terminated prematurely because of the COVID pandemic, and we could not reach our sample size of 52,000 patients, and we end up with 12,000 patients in our intention to treat analysis. So what we showed is that when we look at strokes, we did not find a significant difference between study groups in the rates of strokes. Similarly, we did not find a significant difference in the rates of bleeding between study groups, but we did find an increase in 52% in the diagnosis of clinical atrial fibrillation, with an associated increase in the use of oral anticoagulation. So those were important findings, but because the early termination of the study, we cannot have a definitive answer about the role of screening for AFib on stroke prevention. I think this study confirms that the harder we look, the longer we look for AFib, more AFib we're gonna find. Because some studies in a single time screening fail to show an increase in diagnosis of AFib. But if you are screening with devices that can do prolonged monitoring or longer monitoring, continuous ECG monitoring, you are going to be more likely to really find AFib. And I think that's an important message. This study had an operation committee, and from the DCRI group, we have myself, we have Emily O'Brien, and we had Diane Gallup as the statistician. And this was the DCRI team who really helped do all the linkage with CMS to be able to assess outcomes and then perform the primary analysis of the study. We still need to find out who are the right population to be screened and what's the best way to screen, because if we don't answer these two questions, it's going to be very difficult to prove that screening can reduce stroke.